Every praise is to our God. Every word of worship with one accord. Every praise is to our God. Every praise is to our God. Every word of worship with one accord. Every praise worship with one accord. Every praise is to our God. Sing hallelujah to our God. Glory, hallelujah to our God. Every praise is to our God. Let your light shine. Let your light shine. Let your light shine. Let your light shine. Woo.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Reverend John Riley. I have the joy of serving as your senior minister, and I'd like to welcome you to our Sunday celebration service. It's so nice to see you all here today. Thank you for being here, those of you who are in person, those of you who are joining us on our live stream or on our Zoom experience, and those of you who are watching during the week. We're so blessed to have you with us today. If you're new to Unity, what we want you to know is that Unity is a global spiritual community of welcoming people from all walks of life, people who are looking for a deeper experience of spirit, for transformation in their lives, and to simply do life better. We teach positive, practical spiritual principles that you can apply in your life every day to help you live a more joyful and abundant life. We're so blessed this morning to have with us Rusty Gaylord as our platform leader, Margot LeDuc as our soloist, Russell Norman on piano, Ronnie Beck on drums. And so I'd like to just take a moment here to open with affirmative prayer. So if we just take a moment to settle in, to be in this present moment, to breathe into this present moment and allow that creative, constructive power of Spirit to move in, through, and as us. For in this moment, we are here to express that divine essence, to allow that light to shine brightly within us, to allow that essence to flow through us in this day with an open heart and an open mind. And so we begin this service with that intention of being open, receptive, and willing to be here with Spirit. And so it is. Amen. Well, it's said that when you sing, you pray twice. So this is your third prayer for the morning. I'd like to invite you all to stand as Margot leads us in song.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around. I'm so grateful. 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 Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around. I'm so grateful. 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 Yeah. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
Please be seated. Good morning. My name is Rusty Gaylord, and welcome to Unity's Sunday service. Happy to have you all here. Unity, as John mentioned earlier, is part of a global movement of worldwide prayer and meditation, teaching you positive, practical, spiritual principles. And I just like the really simple explanation that it helps you to live a better life. And who doesn't want that? We have 5 principles that we use in guiding us in this spiritual journey. Number 1 is God is, that there is one presence and one power active in the universe. It is God, the good omnipotent. Number 2, I am. It's not some power that's out there somewhere. It is in you. It is all around you. It surrounds everything. It is in all of life and creation, and you are an expression of this power and abundance. Number 3 is the law of mind action, that thoughts in mind produce after their kind. We can focus on all the problems and all the things going wrong in our life, and we can amplify that. Or we can focus on the things that are good in our life and these truth and these principles that we're talking about right now, and we can amplify that in our lives. But we get to choose, and that's what the law of mind action is about. We get to affect our world through our thinking. Number 4 is the practice of prayer and meditation, because it is through the practice of prayer and meditation that we become connected with this presence and power of God so that it can act through us. And number 5 is the practical application, because it is the practical application of these tools on a daily basis, not just when we're here on Sunday, but when we leave and throughout the rest of the week as well, that allows us to become what we were intended to be, which is living expressions of the divine, of God, of the amazing, abundant world and person that you are. These 5 principles are what we use on a regular basis to help us live into our vision statement. And our vision statement is on the screen behind me, and I invite you all to read it, and we'll say it together. Centered in God, we co-create a world that works for all. And so it is. And now our call to worship song.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory in each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
And now a reading from today's daily word. The daily word is balance. I will read the affirmation and then invite you to say it with me. I honor life's shifting rhythms. Say it all together. I honor life's shifting rhythms. Sometimes trying to balance my schedule, meet my obligations, and even find time for the things I enjoy can leave me scrambling to figure out how to fit it all in. Today, I take my cue from nature and notice the rhythm of the seasons and the tides, the cycles of growth, and the order that underlies all things. I appreciate how seamlessly the natural world balances itself and restores itself to harmony. This gift of harmony and balance lives in me. I honor myself when I flow with it instead of forcing my will upon it. I listen to my body's many signals. I rest when I'm tired, eat when I'm hungry, and socialize and seek solitude as I need to. As I care for myself, I find balance. The scripture reading is from Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 15. For there is nothing better for people under the sun than to eat and drink and enjoy themselves.
I can only imagine what it will be like when I walk by your side. I can only imagine what my eyes will see when your face is before me. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel? Will I dance for your spirit, or in awe of you be still? Will I stand in your presence, or to my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak at all? I can only imagine. I can only imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. Living life. I can only imagine, yeah, yeah, yeah. Sharing all the world. I can only imagine living life in peace. I can only imagine.
Good morning. I got to say that was incredible, Margot, Russell, and Ronnie. Yeah, you guys brought tears to my eyes. Thank you. I'm just going to sit here. Is that okay? Thank you, John. Um, so I've been. It's been a week. It just had a little head cold. Not COVID. Just everyone. I took all the tests. And the interesting thing is, we forget that we can just get colds these days. And my kids got colds, and so there's, again, it's like the kid family thing going on. But I'm coming on the other end of it. I just want to sit here, if that's okay. We're coming in. Happy November, by the way. Did everyone have a safe and sane Halloween? Yes, good. We enjoyed it. It was low key. I was sitting on the couch in the heat of my cold, and so the Tiffany would be answering all of the doors, and I could hear all the kids celebrating. And every time the doorbell rang, I would pop on Nightmare Before Christmas. So it was Danny Elfman, Nightmare Before Christmas song would start playing. Of course, I know there's only 3 people in here who know that movie, but that's okay. It's a joyful movie, and I really enjoyed that. But as we move into November, it feels to me like the anxiety is starting to rise, like the energy is starting to rise, like because we're in the midst of change, and we're getting into the holidays. Of course, the clocks change. We have a wonderful opportunity to exercise our right to vote on Tuesday, and that creates change. And there's all kinds of change that's inherent in the holidays when we start to think about the plays and the ballets that we're all going to be going to. We start thinking about the parties and the family that's going to happen, and the music that's going to be playing while we're there. It's just a fabulous thing. And so sometimes that energy just starts, moving us along. It's okay, June, don't worry. I'm not going to point you out. It's okay. It's just God calling. Tell her I'll be with her in a moment. So this idea of change is occurring, and when I think about change between this year and the year before, last year at this time we were just barely coming out of COVID. I mean, we'd been here for a couple of months in the sanctuary, but everyone was still very concerned, and we were very, of course, following the guidelines and spacing people out and all that kind of stuff. And do you remember that? That was just a year ago. And how much has changed in a year? Not just, changed in how we do business, how we do things. Sometimes we're no longer, some of us are still no longer going into the office. Some of us have changed jobs. Maybe jobs have come and gone through that time. The grocery stores have changed. The way the lines worked at my local grocery store used to be, you just kind of go up to the whatever register is, and it's a free-for-all. And then once COVID hit, it was a long line, and people, that behavior continued. And so the line is out here, and people wait patiently until there's space, and much to the chagrin of some of the cash register, no, come on, we're open, just come on down. So there's that idea that when things happen, it takes us a little bit of time to shift our awareness, to shift consciousness. And I do believe that there's actually even a change in culture beginning to occur as well. And of course, cultural change takes years. But anytime there's an event like we had this 3 or 4 years ago, everything speeds up. So change is a part of our life. There are some things that have changed with us here, and whenever you encounter change, it's kind of like, how do we deal with it? What is the method in which we want to meet it? Because human nature is trying to keep things very consistent. Human nature is trying to say, you know what, I don't want any change. I want things to go exactly the way I expect them to go. Anybody have kids? Have you gone through the experience of expectations? Right, where you say, here's my expectation for you, and they don't quite meet the bar. Well, we've trained our kids so well in that they apply that bar to us. So they have an expectation, or we've set an expectation, and we don't quite meet it. Well, Mom, you said. Of course, it's never Dad. Because we're so resistant to change. So I think in this time, it's really important for us to become comfortable in it. They say that technology is changing at an accelerated rate, exponential every few years, that we tend to create more things and better things, and things shift significantly faster and faster nowadays. And so we start to become comfortable. I know our kids are very comfortable with that kind of change. And I think some of the ways in which we become comfortable, if we do it intentionally, then we have the ability to be in that experience and not feel the anxiety or the stress about it. To be in the experience of change and be centered and grounded in that. So I have a few things that I thought might help. And the first thing that I thought about was creativity. Because when change happens, we get to be creative about how we show up. When change happens, we almost have to change, have to get creative. We have to look at how we're doing life, or how I'm showing up, and look at it differently, or see how we can show up differently, how we can get creative. In his book, Practical Metaphysics, Eric Butterworth, Unity minister and author, once said, "What happens in your mind happens as a result of your attitudes and your feelings and your habit patterns. Your mind is your domain." And so when change happens that jolts us, it's a reminder to be aware of our thinking. Be aware of how we are reacting to that change. And can we get curious and creative about how we approach it? The idea here is not that we're going to just have happy platitudes all the time, right? My brother-in-law always talks about unity. Oh, that's the happy, happy church. Everyone's always happy there. And that may be true for people who are really living the principle. But the principle isn't happy platitudes. The principle is making the choice to not get triggered and not get hooked by all of the disruption in our life. To be creative about how we can live in it and how we can move through it. And so the idea is to turn into that infinite potential, that creative process that's within you, to pause and just get curious. How can I look at this differently? How can I take this situation and create something new? How can I be in this flow of change and be a force for changing for good? Our purpose here at Unity is to transform lives. To transform lives and to inspire people to do good in the world. So what good can you bring to the world during this time of change in the next few months? What good can you bring into the world to help create positive change? What good are you willing to do to step into that flow? There were a couple of ideas that have come up here at Unity Palo Alto. We've had for a while an after the service spiritual coffee talk where people can log in through Zoom, and it kind of dwindled because it was difficult to go from the live stream to the Zoom, and so what we did is we got creative, and we're piloting beginning today a new program that if you're not here, I have to say being here is the best way to experience church. The best way to experience these incredible musicians. The best way to experience this spiritual, for me, the spiritual community. But if you're online, if you're on our live stream, or if you're watching during the week, maybe try coming online through Zoom as a spiritual community. It starts at just before 9 in the morning when Sue or Moj leads our Sunday morning meditation. And then after the meditation, you have some connection time for about a half an hour. And then a few minutes before the service, we plug in the service. And so, hi everyone on Zoom who are watching our Sunday service. And then after the Sunday service, you can stay on for spiritual coffee talk and discuss, what things were really sparked in you. So it's a new way to experience our spiritual community. And it's interesting because a few weeks ago, someone said, I wish everyone would just come back and stop being online. Can you turn it off? Well, that's a choice. We can turn off the live stream. We can turn off the Zoom. And every time we've made one of those kind of changes, like I remember years ago, we had an 8:45 service and an 11 o'clock service. And people would come for the 8:45 service at around 9 o'clock. They said, well, why don't we just make it about 9 o'clock? So we moved it to 9 o'clock, and guess what? People started coming at 9:15. They were creative. Yeah, that first 15 minutes wasn't important to them. And so we try and experiment new things. We get creative and try something out, and if it works, great, and if it doesn't work, it's okay. We can continue on. What in your life have you tried and it didn't work? And you can move on. The challenge is, of course, we get really stressed out about it if it doesn't work. Anybody have that experience? Yeah, we get really stressed about it if something doesn't work right, the way I want it to work. And when it doesn't work the way I want it to work, then I start to hesitate. Maybe this isn't the right change. I'm worried about the change. We start to second guess it as we're doing it, and so it tends to not go the way we want to anyway. So being willing to be creative and just putting it out there, I think is very powerful. The other creative thing that we're going to do good in the world is on the first Monday in December, we're going to get back to holding our toy drive concert with Margot LeDuc. So I'd like to invite Margot to come up and talk a little bit about that.
Well, that's my heart. I love kids. I love giving. So come out and bring a toy, unwrapped, put it back under the tree. I think there's a tree back there, or wherever the tree is. I'm super excited because there's going to be a couple of surprises. I'm not telling you because they're surprises. But I don't care how it goes. I just want to get together. Not unless just kick off the holidays. Everything has been so, don't you want to just, I have a purpose now, so let's just have fun and make some kids happy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Margot. So mark your calendar. That's going to be the first Monday of December. That's December 5th. No, that's okay. And I don't know what time. 7?
Yeah, 7.
Okay, we'll do it at 7. And again, this is a toy drive for homeless kids. And Margot's amazing, and she's done this for years. We've done, 15 years, and how many years here? Most of that, or half of that at least. And it's just an amazing experience of being able to sing and together and come together as a community and bring toys, and then later we give them to homeless shelters around the Bay Area. And it's only going to be here because we don't have the rights to live stream all the music. So mark your calendar for that. And along the way of being creative, it's important for us to be balanced, to remember that in the stress and strain, in all of the activities, to create and maintain a state of balance within us, within ourselves. This is especially true, I think, very pertinent when we start to connect with one another, with family, friends, with the people, the grocery store checkers, and just remember that in everything there is a state of balance. And when we start to get out of balance in our wanting things to go our way, I know none of you have that problem. When we start to get out of balance by not doing things that we know that we should do or being hesitant, we start to swing, the pendulum starts to swing within us, and we tend to get stuck. We tend to get a little dizzy from that. So balance is very important for us to remember. It's the idea of being in the world but not of the world. Right? That's saying that you are here to be that spiritual being. You're here to do the work that you're here to do. We're not here to just sit on a hill and meditate 24 hours a day. We're here to be that light and to experience it and express it in the world with balance. And with balance comes the idea of rest and rejuvenation and sitting down when you need to sit down. But it comes with the idea of, I think, another way is balancing your judgments. Balancing that feelings of this is right and this is wrong. That black and white feeling of this is the way it has to be during the holidays and this is the wrong way to do it. Maybe have an idea of, well, what's showing up in the world? Let me just be with what's showing up in the world. And especially within relationships, to keep moving forward, to keep making progress. This is from Albert Einstein. He wrote this in a letter to his son Edward. He said, "It is the same with people as it is with riding a bike. Only when moving can one comfortably maintain one's balance." So in our experience this coming few months, of all of the change that's happening in our lives, keep moving forward. Keep maintaining that balance. Keep knowing that you are on the right path, even when the road shifts. Creativity, balance, and resilience. Resilience is the third component. There's a Japanese proverb that counsels us to fall down 7 times and stand up 8. Fall down 7 times and stand up 8. Keep going. Even if you fall down, keep going and stand up. And when you fall down again, stand up. I've had this wonderful conversations with my kids around this idea because everyone falls at some point in time or another. Sometimes it's really big. Sometimes it's small. But it's how you stand up that matters. It's how you stand up, standing in that truth of who you are. Not standing and identifying with the failure, the fall, whatever it was, but standing in your truth. That you are a spiritual being, that you were here to shine your light. There's a wonderful safety net that we have, and that's the internal connection of our spiritual wholeness. Especially in the holidays, that idea of wholeness, we may not feel whole. Whether there's something in us or something about us, or that idea of wholeness just may not resonate with you. But within the realm of spirit, you are whole. With the realm of God, you are perfect, a perfect child of God. Because within you lies that potential to express it. So when we come from that spiritual wholeness, that potential within us, then we're able to be more resilient in life. And the best way to be resilient in those times is to practice self-compassion, to practice self-care, to practice being aware of what your thoughts are and saying, okay, I have dominion over my thoughts. Rule number 1. How can I get more creative with it? And when we're practicing self-care and self-compassion, that leads to compassion for other people and other situations. Because we have compassion built up within us, then we can express it more authentically in the world. By cultivating that inner environment of connectedness, safety, caring, and self-compassion, we begin to soften the inner critic. Anybody have an inner critic? This is just to keep you awake. 2 inner critics. I've got a whole balcony of inner critics. And when we fall, who's the first to chime in? The inner critic. Even before the outer critic, as Brene Brown calls them, right? The critics in the cheap seats, right? The people who aren't showing up as our higher self, but are ready to sling the tomatoes. Well, that starts in here. And when we come from that state of self-compassion, that inner critic begins to soften, begins to mellow, begins to not be so loud. And then that nice voice, that other side of you. You know, I often talk about the inner critic as my shadow twin Skippy. Well, then there's the other side of me, which is my authentic self. The authentic self that says, okay, here's how I can do things creatively different, better next time. So resiliency is key. And then finally, centered. Through all the change, be centered in what is unchangeable, what is unchanging. Be centered in spirit. Be centered in the allness of life, love, and wisdom. Be centered in that one presence and one power, that principle of God that is everywhere present within you at all times and doesn't change. That idea of divine love, God's love, doesn't change. Our critics may think it does. But that spiritual wholeness is there and ready for you to become centered in that essence, that authentic self. Butterworth says, the intelligence that is back of all thought is the intelligence that runs the universe. The intelligence that is back of all of your thinking, all of those inner critics, all of those authentic thoughts, is the divine intelligence. And when we separate what the ego is saying within us and allow that divine intelligence to think through us, to speak through us, then we are living expressions. We are in the world, but not of the world. We are living expressions of that divine essence that is you. Now, a lot has changed over the years. I think it was about the November 26th. Anybody remember what happened November 26th, 101 years ago?
I had a birthday.
John had a birthday. John was born almost 101 years ago on November 26th. Yep. Yeah, that was a great day to be born, I tell you.
I enjoyed it.
Has anything changed in the last 100 years?
Yes, I have many times.
John has changed many times. Many times. Change is the name of the game. Change is transformation. When we grow, when we learn, when we start to live life more fully, it's change. What has not changed in your life, John?
The fact that God is always with me. 24/7.
The fact that God is with us always, 24/7. 365 days a year. 366 if it's a leap year. Any other calendars we want to count? But God is everywhere present. Happy birthday, John.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Louise Hay once wrote, "No person, no place, and no thing can have any power over us." Let's just take that in for a moment. Everyone take a nice, deep, cleansing breath. No person, no place, and no thing has any power over us, for we are the only thinkers in our minds. We create peace and harmony and balance in our mind, and we find it in our lives. She actually said, when we create peace and harmony and balance in our minds, we will find it in our lives. Under any circumstance, under any change, through the power, the authoritative power of our own thinking, through our ability to align our thoughts with that divine essence, with the infinite flow of consciousness, to allow us to move into it. And it takes resilience to do that. It takes practice, as John and I can attest. We've changed many, many times because we keep practicing, we keep standing up. And every time I stand up, it gets easier. Life gets better. My perception of what's happening gets better. My ability to have balance amongst my relationships gets better. Everything gets better. And the best is yet to be. Let's move to our affirmation. I'm going to read this once and allow you to soak it up, and then I'll invite you to affirm it with me. In times of change, I am creative, balanced, resilient, and centered in the unchanging allness of life, love, and wisdom. Would you affirm that with me together? In times of change, I am creative, balanced, resilient, and centered in the unchanging allness of life, love, and wisdom. Now, I know that I'm like low in energy, but y'all sound worse than me. Felix, can we back up and have that slide back up here for a moment? Because let's take the dominion, the power of our mind here, and really put it to work, really to put it into action in our lives by affirming this and claiming it as our own. Together, in times of change, I am creative, balanced, resilient, and centered in the unchanging allness of life, love, and wisdom. And so it is. Let's take this into our time of meditation and affirmative prayer. I invite you to take a nice, deep, cleansing breath and close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Or simply soften your gaze. As we rest in this present moment, we come apart from the change. We come apart from the anxiety and the fears, the stresses and the strains, the commitments, the conflicts, the criticism. We allow those things to just gently drift away as we step into our inner sanctuary that is unchangeable. The inner peace of spirit washes over us. The harmonizing energy of spirit flows through every cell in our body, in our thoughts and in our mind, bringing harmony, mind, body, and spirit. Inner wisdom guides us to thoughts of wholeness, thoughts of health and abundance, And as we breathe into this present moment, we allow that energy of love to fill us up, to warm our heart space, to radiate from us into the room that we're in, to shine brightly so that others may take comfort. We allow that energy to flow in the stillness of the silence. Poised in the center of all that is, all that we are experiencing in life. We are balanced, resilient, creative, centered in God. We bring this energy with us throughout this day, throughout this week, expressing that wholeness, that peace, that prosperity. We hold this same affirmative prayer for all of the prayers in our prayer chest, all of the prayers who have come in online or here in the sanctuary. And if there's somebody who you hold in your heart in prayer, I invite you to bring their name to mind or say their name out loud. For all of the prayers in our hearts, for all of the prayers in our world, we allow this energy to expand and to express, knowing that divine love is doing its perfect work here and now. We see each person in each situation rising to the level of their spiritual awareness, transforming their lives and expressing good in the world. We hold the same prayer for our world, national, state, and local leaders, seeing them making wise and loving decisions for peace on earth, goodwill, equality for all people. And for this time together, we allow that gratitude to express and to experience as we give thanks by singing the Alleluia. And with a nice deep cleansing breath, we return to this time and this space and allow ourselves to gently open our eyes if we haven't already done so. Just take a nice, deep, comfortable breath and allow that peace and that love to radiate from you today. Unity Palo Alto is here to help you transform, to help you live from that spiritual magnificence that's within you and to do good in the world. We are here because of your generosity, and we're going to step into that experience, that spiritual experience of living in the flow of abundance now. And however you decide to give to this spiritual community, if you're here in the sanctuary, there's a silver box in the back that you can put a love offering in, or if you'd like to donate your time or your talent or your treasure, however it is that you want to give to this spiritual community, give with love. For it's the manner that we give to the world, it's how we give to the world that we receive from the world. The affirmation that we say is on the screen, and I invite you to affirm that with me. Together, Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. And so it is.
Letting go of every single dream, I lay each one down at your feet. Every moment of my wandering never changes what you see. I try to win this war, I confess. My hands are weary, I need your rest. Mighty warrior, king of the fight. No matter what I face, you're by my side. When you don't move the mountains, I'm needing you to move. When you don't part the water, I wish I could walk through. When you don't give the answers as I cry out to you, I will trust, I will trust, I will trust in you. Truth is, you know what tomorrow brings. There's not a day ahead you have not seen. So all things be my life and breath. I want what you want, Lord, and nothing less. When you don't move the mountains, I'm needing you to move. When you don't part the water, I wish I could walk through. When you don't give the answers as I cry out to you, I will trust, I will trust, I will trust in you. I will trust in you. When you don't move the mountains, I'm needing you to move. When you don't part the water, I wish I could walk through. When you don't give the answers as I cry out to you, I will trust in you. I will trust in you. Oh, yes I do, yes I do. I trust in you. I trust in you. Oh, I trust in you.
Oh, thank you, Margot. Just take that in for a moment. The beautiful music, the sense of trust, the love that we all filled this room with as John led us through a beautiful meditation, the talk, the inspirational message, the connection that we can feel. It's a wonderful opportunity. And I invite you to just take a moment, maybe put your hand on your heart if you'd like to do so, and just amplify that feeling inside of you. Welcome it from those around you. Send it out in a wave of love and connection to all of those here in person in the service this morning, those of you watching online with us, whether right now live or later in the week. And feel that connection, that love, that isness, that allness, and be centered in that for just a moment and embrace that feeling. Beautiful. Welcome. We have a number of things going on here at Unity, a couple of which I would like to share with you this morning beyond the Sunday service. The first one is happening actually right after the service today. We will have a spiritual center update, which will be in person and also on Zoom for those of you who are on Zoom already. And it's happening right after the service here in the sanctuary. So bring your questions. You'll get an update on what's going on in the spiritual center. And if you're like to participate and you're not already on the Zoom, you can get the link also on unitypaloalto.org. Also, next Sunday after the service, starting at noon, there is the Metaphysical Bible Interpretation. And for those of you who haven't heard this or know about it, I think this is a wonderful way to get to understand a little bit about the way Unity thinks about the Bible as a metaphor and a representation for our consciousness. It's a great thing. It's a couple hours next Sunday after the service. Again, more information on the website, and you can register there. And then finally, also on the second Sunday of the month, every Sunday at 11 o'clock, again after the service, there is a prayer service. And this is led by Casey Wicker, who is our licensed Unity teacher. It's a wonderful opportunity to participate in the same kind of service that Silent Unity does on a regular basis, and you can do it right here with us the second Sunday of the month. So that, again, would be next Sunday. You can find out about these and other things going on here at Unity on our website, unitypaloalto.org. You can also go to social media channels and check us out there and follow us and like us and do all that kind of stuff. So we'd love to welcome you and invite you into the community. Because it is the first Sunday of the month, we get the wonderful pleasure of singing happy birthday and welcoming and celebrating the birthdays. And we know John has a birthday coming up later this month, but he's probably not the only one with a November birthday. I'm going to invite all of you to stand to sing for those November birthdays.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, you're wonderful. Happy birthday to you.
And you can stay standing because we are going to move into our final song, which is on the screen behind me.
Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous song. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me.
And we'll be just probably 10, 15 minutes to get everything set up and then start our meeting right after the service. So we'll see you then. And now, our prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Love and blessings, everyone. Have a wonderful week.
I'm so grateful. 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 Gratitude before me. Gratitude behind me. Gratitude to the left of me. Gratitude Gratitude to the right of me, gratitude about me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Yeah. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. So grateful. I'm so grateful.